Hi everyone, welcome to Games of the Week for the 28th of September, even though it might not be the 28th of September anymore. And let's get started. So, videos this week on the channel. We had Saloon Tycoon, which is a tile laying game where you kind of build up your saloon in 3D using cubes and tiles, and you're trying to attract the best citizens and keep away the outlaws and maybe send them over to your opponent's saloons. And that's a nice little game, and you can watch the playthrough and the review for that. And also Oceanos, which is a card drafting game where we are undersea explorers going deeper and deeper into the ocean and trying to find treasure or different types of fish or the biggest coral reef, all sorts of things going on in there. And it's a really simple, really quick card drafting game. And there's a playthrough and a review for that as well. And that's they're both two-player ones because there's no solo rules yet. I'm sure the Board Game Geek users will come up with something amazing, as they often do. In channel news, let's kind of channel news, maybe 50-50. I've wanted to go to Essen for a few years now, and pretty much every year it's come to, can't make it work this year. And I've been saying that for this year, but all of a sudden I can go to Essen, which is really unbelievable, and I'm really excited about it. And even more exciting and related to the channel, I've got some appointments with some publishers that are going to be there, so it'll be really interesting to speak to those people. And if you're at Essen, let me know. I'm going to be there most of Thursday, all of Friday, and most of Saturday. So I can't wait to see what that's like. I have no idea, no really frame of reference for going to something like this or going to many places in the world. So this will be really unusual for me, but I'm sure it'll be fantastic to be there, because from the videos I've watched every year, I would love to be there, and it's going to be really exciting to see what it's like there. Also, the Essen preview is hopefully coming this week. I'm not sure if I'll have time, but it's definitely coming as soon as I can get it done. And then I'll be kind of the list of my top games there will be pretty much be my shopping list of what I'm going to be looking at to get there. So I'll be putting up some kind of poll or something for if there's something you think that I'm missing that would be interesting for the channel. Then I'm going to be looking for your ideas as well, if there's anything you're really excited about at Essen this year, because there's a ton of games as always being released there. So now we can move on to upcoming games, and I thought there was only going to be a few this week, but then as I was looking through the feed of new games, there's a couple there that really caught my eye. But let's go through what I've found. So there's the game Extreme, and the game, I can't remember when it came out now, was it last year or the year before? But the game is it's not a great name to try and search for, but it's a card game where the cards are numbered from 2 to 98, and you have these 4 piles, 2 going up from 1 and 2 going down from 100. And it's a cooperative game where we all have a hand of cards. On your turn, you have to play 2 somewhere. So 2 piles are only going up, 2 piles are only going down. And obviously, with luck of the draw and things, some people are going to have to make those piles jump really far down. But there are ways you can make them jump up a little bit. But it's a fantastic cooperative game. It's a really nice solo game as well. It becomes a really interesting puzzle when there's nobody else to blame it on, because when there's a lot of people, somebody's going to have to play something bad, and usually they get the blame for the failure. But it's a really, really fun game, really quite quick, really simple, but surprisingly hard to actually get right. And there was a little expansion for that made it a little bit harder, where if you played these bad cards that were multiples of 11, then the next person would have to cover them up before their turn. So you're kind of forcing that person to have to play a card they might not want to play. Hello, Marty. But in the game Extreme, a lot of the cards have got instructions written on the top of them. And I'm not sure what they do yet, because there's no instructions or anything on Board Game Geek yet. But whatever it is, it's going to make the game more difficult. So then we have Oh My Goods, Longsdale in Aufruhr. I know I didn't pronounce that right, I'm very sorry. So it's an expansion for Oh My Goods, which I did a playthrough for a little while ago. It now includes solo play, which is, makes it a must-get for a start. But also, it's a story. There are like riots happening in this city, and we need to sort it out. And it's 5 chapters that tell a story, and through each chapter of the story, the rules will change. There's an event deck that's different every time, and not only does this sound really great, I was really surprised when I first read it that that would be the expansion for Oh My Goods. So Dominion and Dominion Intrigue 2nd edition. These are, as you might expect, new versions of the game and its standalone expansion. They revised text on some of the old cards, they have improved the rulebooks, but most importantly for each they have removed 6 of the old Kingdom cards and the blank cards that came in the boxes originally and replaced them with 7 new Kingdom cards each. And while it would be nice to get all of the revisions and things, I'm not sure how much they changed though, the revised cards, but the most important thing is the Kingdom cards, and if you are a 1st edition owner, like a lot of people will be, you can buy some little upgrade packs to include just the new Kingdom cards, and I'll definitely be looking out for them because more Dominion is always a brilliant thing. Then there's Meduris, and this is from Harbour, and it looks like their new Gamers and Families game in the way that Adventureland was last year, and I really loved Adventureland. In Meduris we are gathering materials and building huts and temples and offering things to the gods to earn their favour and some victory points presumably. Just glancing through the rulebook, it seemed like a really interesting way of gathering materials is you put your workers on the map and the workers stack, so whether it's yours or another person's, when you lay yours down, if there's somebody else there, for example, you put your worker on top of theirs, you're going to get 2 resources and they get 1 for being underneath you. So there's a nice little trade-off there of you getting more for being higher up because the stacks can go higher, but everybody underneath you is going to get a little bonus. So that sounds pretty cool. And then there's DiverCity. This is a cooperative game where we are trying to stop the destruction of a coral reef by showing the government that there is a great diversity of life there, and we are trying to find all these different species to show them and trying to stop the resorts and things eroding the natural life away, and we are ultimately trying to make them turn it into a national park. And that sounds like a really nice idea for a game. The cover art is on Board Game Geek, that looks really nice, and I'm definitely interested to find out more about the game. And finally, there is Cantabile Blitz. And the story of this game really grabbed me. The Grand Dean of an abandoned Victorian theatre wants to rebuild it to former glory, but he's found that ragtag teams of horrible musicians have been sneaking in and using the abandoned theatre to practice in. And so he has decided to hold a competition between all of these terrible musicians so that they can try and improve and ultimately reopen the theatre with the people with the best orchestra. And we're going to have dice to represent the different musicians. People that do well in performances will earn money to be able to buy better musicians and therefore better dice. And there are no turns in the rounds. It's all done in real time to perform these scores and try and most accurately recreate them. It sounds really interesting. There's only the description on Board Game Geek so far, but I'm really interested to find out more about that one. And I think that's it for this week. So I will see you for the next video. Bye everyone.